I'm Lizzie and welcome to my garden here at the Rose Press. Today I'm going to show you how to grow Ranunculus. Ranunculus are absolutely gorgeous. They have the most amazing ruffled petals, loads and loads of ruffles, and it's also known as the rose of the spring because it comes out slightly earlier than the roses and it just looks beautiful. You can get them in loads of different colours, lots of pinks and whites and purples, super pretty. I'm going to grow some pink ones this spring. Now it's important to note that you can plant your ranunculus, I'm going to call them claws because that's what they look like. You can plant these in either autumn for flowers in the spring or spring for flowers in the summer. So it's quite a good idea to get two lots or one lot and then save some to plant later so you get a continuous flow in your garden. But ranunculus are just brilliant flowers. Not only do they look brilliant in borders, but they also look brilliant in pots and containers. So if you've got a smaller space and you're looking for something to grow in there, then these are brilliant. And they're also fantastic as cut flowers. Their vase life lasts for ages, but I always think they look so beautiful in the garden that I'm always too scared to cut them and bring them indoors. But they are absolutely beautiful plants and I highly recommend growing them. They're also really easy to grow. Ranunculus come, like I say, with these claw-like things, a bit like tubers, but the kind of mini version. And it's really important to note that when you get them, you need to store them in a cool and dry place until you're ready to plant them. Or if you've got them in the autumn and you're saving them for spring, make sure they're in a cool and dry place. That's really important. And then when you're ready to sow and plant them, you just need to soak them for an hour to 3 hours. It differs when you go on Google and have a look. Everyone's telling you different times, but basically the reason you soak is so that it gives it a little bit of a kick start. It doesn't actually matter if you don't soak them at all. You can just put them straight in because when you water it, that's almost like soaking it anyway. So the reason why we soak it is just to give it a head start. If you've already sown yours and you haven't soaked it, it's really not the end of the world, but it's up to you how long you do it. Please just don't leave them sort of overnight or for long times because they can start to rot. So you really need to make sure that you leave them for about an hour or up to 3 maximum. So I've been soaking mine for the last hour this morning and I'm now going to plant them. So it's really important as well that if you are going to do it, that you do it in room temperature water. You definitely don't want hot water and you don't want freezing cold water. The best thing is some nice room temperature water. And then it's really simple what we do. We just fill up some pots, and you can do these in big cell trays, but I tend to do my ranunculus in pots just because they then last longer, they've got more nutrients, and then when I plant them in the ground it's a bit easier rather than trying to get them out of the cell trays. So I'm using pots for all different sizes. It doesn't really matter as long as it's got enough room to grow. Obviously the bigger the pot, the longer you can leave it in there without having to feed it, because as we know, compost and the nutrients in compost last about 6 to 8 weeks, and after that you then need to feed them. But anyway, we'll get on to planting them. So I've soaked them for an hour. I filled up most of the way to the top, and then we'll get what I'm calling these little claws, some people call them sea urchins, and just make a hole in the pot, and then we will pop it in. And it's important to pop the claws down so that the eye, which is at the top, that is where the ranunculus will start growing. So we soaked it, made a little hole, popped it in there, and then we'll just tap it over and maybe add a little bit more compost on top, just a little bit, just to make sure it's covered and tucked in. And then we'll give that a really good water, and then we'll keep it in the greenhouse. I'm now planting mine in spring, so I'll keep mine in my zippy greenhouse and then wait until it shoots, and then I'll be planting it out into the garden. If you're planting yours in autumn, then you'll definitely need to keep them under cover so that they are protected from frost. Although I have a little story that I planted some ranunculus as a bit of an experiment out in my border over there, and actually it snowed about 10 centimetres deep and they're still absolutely fine. So don't mollycoddle them too much, but if you are sowing them in autumn ready for spring flowers, then make sure that you keep them under cover until a bit later when you're ready to plant them out. So I'm going to continue doing these, so making a hole, popping it claws down, tapping it over, and done. It's really as simple as that. Ranunculus corms are available on lots of different websites. I'm hoping I'll be able to get a hold of some over the next coming months for autumn and spring each year as well. But they're beautiful flowers, absolutely gorgeous, and I know once you started growing them, you'll definitely want to do them twice a year from then on. If you've got any questions about ranunculus, then let me know and drop me a comment or a DM, and thank you very much for watching, and I can't wait to see all of your gorgeous photos of Ranunculus over the next coming months. Thanks for watching.